Let's keep a focus on that story, that signing of the deal between Ukraine and Russia to allow Ukrainian grain to be exported from ports around the Black Sea. We can cross over to Washington to speak to Odesa Member of Parliament Oleksiy Goncharenko. Thank you very much for speaking to us. When you know Odessa obviously very well, you represent the people of Odessa, you know the ports there. With the signing of this deal, how quickly can grain start being exported?
Very quickly. Hello, thank you for covering. Very quickly. Next week, Odessa is ready to start shipments. And now we are just waiting for the ships to come, and we are ready to put grain inside and to send them to those who need this grain, because it's millions of people who are starving or very close to starving today.
We know the impact that the shortages that people around the world are experiencing because of the blockade of the exports. But just in terms of the area, the waters mined, the ships don't have enough people on them anymore because they have been moved off for their own security. Many ships have been damaged. So I just wonder, really, realistically, can it be so quick to get this grain moving?
Yes, it can be. Everything technically is ready. Ukraine already prepared corridors there for them to come and to come out. They can be escorted with demining ships. It is in the deal. So that is not the problem. But what is the reality, and here I agree with you completely, that Putin will do everything he can to slow down the process, to make it as possibly narrow bottleneck as he can, to make the shipments like a teaspoon style. Absolutely, because he doesn't want it. And the only reason why it became real is because Ukrainian army were successful enough to destroy big part of Russian Black Sea Navy fleet, including their flagman ship, Cruiser Moskva, and to liberate Snake Island. And that shows how we should deal with Russia. They understand only force. So the force, harpoons which we received thanks to United Kingdom for these anti-ship missiles, all together made this deal possible. But Putin will do everything he can to disrupt it any moment, and will try to use it as a leverage. He's weaponizing everything.
When you say how to deal with Russia, I wonder, when it comes to, you're in Washington, you were testifying at Congress about the occupied territories of Ukraine. There were negotiations with Russia to reach this deal. The Russian produce, Russian agricultural produce, which doesn't have sanctions on it, but it will be able to move that produce. Are you comfortable with the international community negotiating with Russia, given what is happening on the ground in Ukraine?
Definitely, when we have genocide, and it's completely genocide what's happening in Ukraine. By the way, and I was campaigning also for these. There are bills in the Senate, in the Congress, on the level of the House, about designating what's going on as genocide, and definitely seeing it on the ground. It's quite difficult for us to speak with Russians about anything. But here it was like a gesture of goodwill from Ukraine. This deal is more important not for Ukraine, but for the whole planet. We don't want to see people starving. We want to feed people, and we have values, not like Putin. And we want to stop this terror from him, when he is like a food terrorist, took as hostages hundreds of millions of people throughout the whole planet. That's why we made this compromise and made this gesture of goodwill.
And Oleksiy, I guess just in terms of this deal, it's not a permanent deal. Will it be renegotiated? Are you hopeful that that will be the case?
This is a deal for 4 months. By the way, we calculated, like more or less, we can ship with the restrictions which are in this deal near 3 million tons of grain per month. So it means 12 million during these 4 months. And we today have in the stocks 20 million tons. And we have a new harvest collection season, which is in the process. So it shows us that it's not a complete decision, but it's better than nothing. That's true. But we don't believe Russians, so I can't tell you what will be in 4 months. We're pretty sure that they will try to disrupt this process even earlier. So that should be very clearly watched and very attentively watched by the free world, what will go on further.
Oleksiy Goncharenko, Member of Parliament for Odessa, joining us from Washington, where you were testifying at Congress. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Thank you.
Thank you.